everybody. Welcome to the podcast, the HeadHunters Northwest podcast, talking about recruiting in the shooting sports industry. I'm really excited today to have Brett Burleigh on. He is the Director of Operations for QuietKat. Thank you very much, Brett, for making the time to talk with us.
It's a pleasure to be here, Shaylene. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you are renowned in your own right in the industry, and you've learned a lot over the last many years and have a lot of great experience in operations. And I'd love to hear about that. So could you maybe let our listeners know a little bit about you and how you kind of got into the outdoor industry and what you like about it? And we can kind of start there.
It all started with barbecuing a rack of ribs and
No kidding.
to someone in my neighborhood, and quite honestly, that person gave me a chance. And then when you are given a chance, you need to really own it and prove that person that their trust is in the right spot. So quickly I joined a company as a project manager out of my MBA. And got something, very complicated ERP up and running in a short amount of time, and then was trusted with taking over the operational control of a family-owned business. So that business was acquired. Then that acquisition turned into hey, let's fix this family-owned business into a much more professional private equity-based company. And from there, found some interest in the outdoor sporting goods industry. Got tapped to work with an ammunition manufacturer. That was a really fun, exciting time to be in a hyper growth business in
Super
a hyper growth time when with the impact of COVID-19 and political unrest in 2020. And then after that, I'm now running the operations for a e-bike manufacturer, another industry that is experiencing hyper growth and is expected to double in the next 5 years.
Wow, no kidding. Can you just do a real quick overview of what QuietKat is and kind of explain? And we'll have a link when we post this so people can go to learn more about QuietKat. But I don't know who lives under a rock and doesn't know about QuietKat, but just in case.
Well, for those who are lucky enough to ride it, it's still a very much a hand-to-mouth type of industry. If you have a premium product that's sought after, it's hard to get, but you can go to any one of our dealers and hopefully they still have one or two on the floor and ride them. But so QuietKat is a e-bike manufacturer, electric bike manufacturer. And we design all-terrain, all-electric bikes to help the outdoor enthusiast just get deeper into the outdoors, get further, get better access. So we overbuild products. We try to design rugged, all-season product, and our core is in the hunt and fishing space, but we're slowly branching out into motorsports, overlanding. For the last few years, we've had a terrific partnership with Jeep. We're the manufacturer of the Jeep bike that you saw Bill Murray riding during the Super Bowl commercial a few years ago.
Very cool.
And it's I can't tell you, it's fun to be part of the electric side of the business that's not necessarily associated with the actual hunt, but help somebody get out there and hunt. Right? There's a lot of fun to that. So
they're very popular. I mean, it's a common name in my world. I know a lot of people in our industry that own them and love them, and I can't imagine that wouldn't keep growing.
Yeah, it's like I said, the industry is expected to continue to grow, and we kind of trailblazed our own part of it with a niche. How do we take something that's meant to be transportation A and B and add a utility factor to a part of the outdoor segment, hunting and fishing, that requires silence and lack of scent, right? And then not just that, but like cargo capacity. So we like to think of our product as like the SUV of the e-bike market. It's a little bit bigger than what you really need, but man, is it capable? So,
the reviews are great. It's a great product. What do you find the challenges are, though, with the operational piece when you've got such a great product and you have the world that we live in, what do you find are challenges in operations, and what have you learned over the last couple of years that is
Mm.
unique to our industry?
Well, we have an industry that's a lot of questions. So,
It
but we're
is.
going to unpack it a little bit.
All
And
right.
one of the things that I find in the shooting sports outdoor industry is that we're a group of people that like to be together, right? But
Mhm.
for the last few years, we've generally speaking had a little bit more flexibility to be apart. I don't feel like that's affected our day to day because we've been fortunate to have hyper growth through demand, but we're coming to a point where now people need to come back a little bit, start working a little bit more collaboratively, and yet at the same time manage a new flexibility that the employee really is hoping to maintain. So we've got some tough things to work through as managers and leaders and organizations to ensure that our employees are still happy, that they're still able to participate in this industry that we love,
Mhm.
and at the same time accomplish our organizational goals. So some of the lessons that I've learned the hard way are, really understand that if someone is passionate about something, whether it's a sport, an event, charity, and they have an opportunity to do it, it's just as much of a representation of your business that you're allowing them to do it. Oh gosh, that sounds really magnanimous,
No,
but
actually, I think
that
that's a
you're,
good way to explain
yeah,
it because I've not heard anyone explain that very well. And it
yeah.
is really important. It's the challenge that we're all facing right now.
Yes, I mean, if you're an avid golfer and you need to take a Friday off to go play golf, and you work it out and your work is done and you've got the time off or the
Mhm.
scheduling flexibility, man, you should go do it because your team is so much happier when you have that ability to participate in the outdoors.
Yeah.
So for us, it's really important as a team to get out and ride, right? Whether you're a biker or not. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
I've been on a bike for a long time, but I've never been a true cycling enthusiast.
Mhm.
But when all of us are together on a ride on a Thursday afternoon, man, it's so much fun, right?
Oh, that's pretty neat.
We're all huddling around our product, all of us riding it and experiencing different types of bikes. There's a hodgepodge of land of lost and broken toys in our office
Yeah.
that we like to go and you just cruise around the streets or up the different trails, and man, it's a good time. So when you do get together,
Mhm.
that same enjoyment in your own personal hobbies and activities, you got to bring that to that passion to your product.
Yeah.
So operationally, it's really hard to unplug, especially now. Again, we're
Yeah.
still in hyper growth and and the demand is still there. So every minute, every hour you're away from your processes in front of you that you're responsible for,
Mhm.
the work is going to stack up. So finding ways to be fair, to encourage participation with our product, to encourage creativity, collaboration between departments. It's absolutely critical to success of a outdoor sporting goods company right now.
Seems like a pretty good work culture. We get a lot of calls where people want to know how to break into our industry. And it seems like with QuietKat and operations, I would imagine you have a lot of opportunity for entry level jobs or people who can be trained.
Mhm.
And I'm sure you have many opportunities for people that have experience too. But what
Mhm.
what would be some of the roles that you are looking to hire people for, or ways that people could learn more about QuietKat? Are there jobs that you're looking to fill right now?
Yeah, we have a few open positions right now, and it's everything from a warehouse associate all the way up through an accounting supervisor. Right,
Wow,
and
that's
and
great.
yet we have a very large organization that grew, like many outdoor sporting goods companies did in the last couple of years. But we all grew a little bit too fast, and at this
Hmm.
point, I think we're on the plateau portion of the hiring curve.
Yeah,
But at the same time, your work doesn't stop. And frontline workers in our industry, people who are making the orders happen, who are out there packing, picking, people who are taking care of the journal entries for accounting. those roles are critical, right? If you don't have
Yeah.
good team members who care, it doesn't matter how good your product is. If your processes stop, then your business is going to go nowhere. So we are always hiring, right? We're always hiring that, as well as customer service agents, because our direct outreach to the consumer is extremely critical to the success of our brand. It's how you get them to come back for, their spouse's bike,
Yeah.
their friends, encouraging their friends to
Oh,
say,
yeah.
call this person, and then they'll help you figure out which bike is right for you.
That's great.
And that's so these roles are always open. We've got roles that are national as well as local to our headquarters in Eagle, Colorado.
That's great. When you think of the team members that are working for you
Mhm.
on your team, what are some of the traits that they exhibit, the most successful people? Because I've gotten to know you over a couple of years, and I remember you taking on roles that your job description was this, but you ended up doing this and this and this and this, right? I mean, none of your roles that I remember have ever stayed within some narrow margin. And
Mhm.
I bet that the people that work for you, I would imagine there are some traits you can really identify that help people to keep learning and are successful.
Yeah, I mean, a few minutes ago, I talked about that first opportunity I had in
Mm.
the outdoor sporting goods space, where someone just gave me a chance, and I took that, and I took ownership of that, and so over the years, I've started calling that the give a crap factor, right? Probably not as nice, but we're on a podcast, so that really care about your team, your product, your process, your company. Um,
Yeah.
that's the trait that my team has, and I've been very lucky to have a team that I inherited in this role. And then I started to build as well. So, this last year we were able to actually create our very first engineering department. So now I have three
That's great.
engineers who
Wow.
are not necessarily in our space,
Hmm.
but are very dedicated to our product and making sure that our product is extremely quality, and that we have vision for the future on how to make our lives and our processes and our products less complex,
That's
right? And all
fantastic.
of these things lead to a better consumer experience. So to me, that care
Hmm.
for the consumer is the number one trait that I would say all my managers have. And then
That's great.
beyond that, it's something I basically require for organization before we hire anybody. Do you have a sense of responsibility and accountability to the team? And if you do, you're part of it.
That's
So
great.
you can train anybody, but you got to care.
Yeah.
So
It's that drive,
mhm.
that passion, that personal responsibility for accountability and taking pride in what you do, that I think it's hard to hear when you're younger, when you're first getting started, because it seems so untangible. You don't know what, maybe that means.
Mhm.
But I think that, you can build a career in this industry. The
Mhm.
opportunities are vast. It's a matter of getting in on the ground floor sometimes and being willing to do anything.
Right, exactly. I mean, thinking about other friends in this space, like a friend of ours, Daniel Cox. Right, he
Hmm.
started as customer service with Remington. Right, and
Yeah.
then where was he now?
He's a great example.
He's the head of product for Norma. Right,
Yeah.
and it was a
Or
leap
he's
of
out on
faith,
his boat
or
fishing.
he's fishing. One of those two. Both of which make him happy, right?
Yeah, that's
But
right.
the key is that drive, that ownership of what's in front of you, that
Yeah.
gets you somewhere. And I've got some really talented people on my team who are just like that. And man, I am thankful for every single one of them,
Yeah.
because without them, a challenging supply chain,
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
challenging consumer demand market we've had for the last 18-24 months, it would be damn near impossible without those people who really care about the opportunity that they have. So
Yeah.
couldn't be happier. Couldn't and finding that person is so challenging too.
Yeah.
But man, it's there's good indications. Like my head of product applied for every job that was open, and
Is
all
that
that
right?
told me was that he really wants to work for us.
That's really cool.
And that was a really cool thing. I mean, he was qualified. He took one role and we promoted him up to the new one, and it was that level of care for the product, the responsibility of the brand. Man, that set him over the edge. So
That's great. And enthusiasm. I know you really do
enthusiasm.
care about the people that you work with and work for you. And
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's not just a Monday through Friday thing. I know that in our industry, these people become your friends, and you end up associating with them all over the place. And really, our industry is quite large, even though people think of it as small. It's global, but yet we do all meet up and see each other at trade shows or even local events that are, outdoor industry or shooting sports related.
Yeah, I mean, it's really neat to find such connection to the industry anywhere you go, right? Whether you're
Yeah.
walking into REI or Cabela's, right? You're
Yeah.
going to meet somebody who's an enthusiast. One of the things we always have to be mindful of is that there's different political opinions,
Yeah.
but the one drive is that, hey, these people appreciate their passion, and they also appreciate that you have a passion.
Yeah.
And yeah, you might be more loyal to one brand over another, but every one of us really likes the space that we
Yes.
work in. So
And
it's one
enjoying
of the
the
more refreshing
outdoors.
pieces. Yeah.
And being out there in the oxygen and the fresh air and appreciating the beauty. It definitely goes across every model.
Absolutely.
Because that's what they're created for.
Yeah, the participation, right?
Yeah. Is there any advice you'd give your younger self if you would look back, since you're already still your younger self now? So I don't even know if I should ask.
Be mobile, right?
Be mobile.
I
Interesting.
looked at I looked at younger Brett and I said, man, I was really committed to one geographic part of the country, one this, one that. And what I should have learned is that I could have had a wealth of experience if I just looked outside of that area. And I love where I am today. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Right.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for every opportunity that's gotten me here. But to be narrow-minded as I was looking for careers back in 2011, right?
Yeah.
I would go back in and say, St. Louis is different, right?
Yeah.
Milwaukee isn't bad. Yeah. And no offense to people who are in St. Louis or Milwaukee, but for me growing up in the South with a general desire to be in the West, right? I was laser focused on I got to find a job in Boulder, right? So I could be at the foothills of the Rockies, right? And that's where I was thinking, and instead I could have thought, what can I do? What value can I bring anywhere? And then realize that my own success is going to get me wherever I want to go.
Right. That's really good advice, because I do hear that people want to stay in a very small geographic area. And our industry is very unique, and it truly is global. It is not something that you have to be limited by one little area. And I think when you're younger too, and you don't have all those little people to feed, it's a little easier to travel.
It sure is. So, but that said, anytime there's a flight deal to Colorado, no matter where I am, I usually end up booking it for me and my 4 little people. So
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Well, tell me a little bit more about how people can come to work for you. We're going to post a link with this podcast showing people where they can apply for jobs. But what's the best way for them to reach out to QuietKat or to you?
To me, it's always LinkedIn. I'm a little bit of a addict to that, but anyone can get a hold of me anywhere on that one. But for QuietKat, for open roles, get in that pool right away, because our team looks at that on the website quietkat.com/careers. We look at that every day. We review candidates as soon as they come in. And it's one of those things where we're constantly looking for good people. So the minute a good person applies, you pretty much get a response. So You
So
know,
okay, so to the website
to the
and to the
website.
careers website,
Hmm.
and then people can also reach out to you on LinkedIn. So now I'm afraid you're going to
Yeah,
get flooded with contacts, but
yeah,
that's
that's
good.
fine. That's okay.
Okay, good.
So it's always good
So
to meet friends.
yeah,
So,
well, and that's how you learn about people. So it's a good way to do it.
hmm,
Tell me one more last question I want to end this
yeah.
with.
Okay.
What is your favorite? Do you want to talk about fishing pole, firearms? What's your favorite outdoor thing and why?
My favorite outdoor thing is my children. Right.
Well,
Okay.
yes,
So
the
that's
littles.
anytime they're outside and I get a chance to be with them and teaching them something, or I mean, for my oldest son right now, it's finding pine cones because he
Oh,
knows that
cute.
we're going to use those to start a bonfire. Right. Like for him, that's exciting. But we'll stick with firearms. This is a firearms
Okay.
related industry.
Okay.
My favorite firearm right now, it probably will be for a long time, is the 22 long rifle, Savage Mark II that
Oh,
I bought my daughter.
really?
Right.
That's great.
Again, it's not mine. It's Riley's because I want to do something with her. I want to do something that's fun. I
That's a
like that
great thing.
she's
I
a
didn't
little
know
me,
that. That's awesome.
and I'm excited that I get to teach her the safety, the
Yep.
participation. This is how you do it. This is what you do. Get her interested. Show her the world outside of Fortnite, and like this is a real firearm. This is a real thing, right?
Yeah.
There's consequences that come with this, and so it starts small with a 22 long rifle, but I think what I'm going to have out of this is a lifelong buddy to go do fun things outdoors with.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
so like I said, it's all about the kids. But this one I think is going to have a meaningful impact on my life and my daughter's life.
Great
So,
suggestion. Savage makes an Axis rifle that is youth.
mhm.
Is that one a youth that you bought her? A youth stock?
No, I don't think
They do
so.
make one, and I only know that because I bought myself one.
It does have a short pull, so maybe it
Yeah,
is a youth one,
yeah.
but
Those are
it
great rifles.
yeah,
That's
this one,
great. Well, good
yeah,
for you.
it's great. But hey, thank you so much for having me on this today. I really appreciate talking about the industry, how to hire in it, and anytime you want to talk about it, Shaylene. So
Thanks. Well, I appreciate you being on here, and we will make sure we put the link in for people to apply so they can get to work with the great Brett Burleigh, Director of Operations at QuietKat.
just looking for good people to call coworkers. So,
That's right.
so
Thanks, Brett.
appreciate. Hey, thank you. Have a great day.
All right.